All right, so we've been talking about two-step equations and how to solve for that. And now we're going to use the two-step in inequalities for on page 63. On tomorrow's date is the 27th. So two-step inequalities. Once you get that written in your table of contents, please go ahead and turn to the page that you are on, minus 63, and we are going to talk about the two-step inequalities. Before we actually get to the full onset of problems, we're going to talk about what are inequalities. Okay, inequalities, it has equal in it. If you notice right here is the equal. Okay, so inequalities is basically one side is bigger than the other side. It could be one side is bigger or equal to the other side, but you have the opportunity for a variable to be getting bigger or getting smaller depending on what it is asking. So here's a quick review on what your inequalities are. So you have what y'all called in elementary school possibly your alligator mouse, but we are no longer in elementary. And so this is reading from left to right. If it's smaller on the left, bigger on the right, is your less than symbol. And reading from right or left to right here, big to small, is your greater than symbol. Okay, another trick to remember which is which. 1 is less than 2. So 1 is less than 2. So there's your less than. And 2 is greater than 1. Okay, so even knowing your points of your sign can help you remember what this is. Now, this is going to become important here in a little bit, but I'm going to tell you already, when you have just the less than and greater than symbol, you're going to need to know that they have an open circle. And this comes into play on the number line. So number line, I'm going to put that above here. You have an open circle, okay? The next two symbols we will incorporate is now a less than or equal to, okay? And then a greater than or equal to, okay? So again, we have less than or equal to. And the equal to is we have one bar of our equation symbol, the equals symbol. So we have less than or equal to, meaning that a variable can be a certain number or less than that. For the greater than or equal to is the same thing. The variable can be greater than this number or equal to it. Okay? Same thing when reading it. You have 1 is less than 2. 2 is greater than 1. Now, when it comes to the number line and when we start putting our things on a number line, the equal to gets a closed circle. Okay, and I'm going to say already that the reason why these are closed, so a closed circle, and this is because it can include that number. Okay, and then here is an open circle because it does not include that number. Okay? So we have less than or greater than with open circle when we put it on a graph or a number line. And then you have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to with a closed circle when we are going to put it on a number line. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into some examples. So first example on how to solve for two-step inequalities. We're going to take 2x plus 7 is greater than 11. So what this means is that this side of the inequality needs to be bigger. And this side needs to be smaller. Okay, that's basically what it's saying, that this side is bigger, greater than the right side. All right, so first step is to solve as if it had an equal sign. Nothing has changed. So solve as if it was an equation. Okay, previous lessons were two-step equations. So the first step in solving an equation is to start getting your variable by itself by your addition or subtraction. So we have an addition of 7. So to get rid of the 7 on the left-hand side and get it over to the right-hand side, we need to subtract 7 on both sides. Okay, this then, the 2x comes down, and the 7 positives with the 7 negatives is 0. Greater than 11 minus 7 is 4. Okay, so all I did was bring down the 2x, the greater than symbol, and did my subtraction. Now I have 2 times x, so we divide by 2 on both sides. We're still doing the opposite of stuff. All right, nothing else has changed. We're still solving like normal. This becomes 1, which leaves x by itself is greater than 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, so now if we check, we can put 2 in for x. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 7, which is 11 because we solved it like a regular equation. And we're saying that x has to be greater than this 2 because right now it equals 11. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what it would look like on a number line. Let me grab one of my other markers. All right, so on a number line below it, because hopefully this will make it a little more sense. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. -1, -2, -3. All right, so on the number line, like I said, up here, since we have the greater than symbol, we need our greater than, which is an open circle, and it does not include this number. So we're saying x cannot be 2 by an open circle, but x can be greater than 2. So where do our numbers go higher or greater? It goes to the right. So if I plug in a value of 3 or even 2.1 is greater than this 2, so that should give me a value greater than 11. So let's go ahead and just pick a whole number. If I pick 3 as my check, okay, I plug in 3 for x. So I have 2 times 3 plus 7 is greater than 11. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 7, and 6 plus 7 is 13, and 13 is greater than 11, so that's what we want. Good job. That's what we need. Okay? Okay, so I want to go ahead and tell you that in part 2 of this video, we're going to continue on with examples. I've got at least maybe 2 or 3 more examples, possibly 4 examples that I need to show you. We're going to incorporate some of the greater than or equal to or less than or equal to symbols with the closed and what that looks like. And then there's another big thing that we've got to understand when it comes to multiplying or dividing with negatives and what happens to the signs from there. All right, so be looking for part 2.